Hello, children. Are you ready for a truly frightening cinematic experience? Well, too fucking bad, because you picked the wrong movie for that, motherfucker.
Movies involving death, or more precisely, what comes after death, are very popular. They make us pause and reflect, not just on our own mortality, but the possibility that what we do in this life may affect us after our passing. Which is why The Lazarus Effect should be such an effective film. Unfortunately, you pause what you were doing 20 minutes into the film and ponder how you've fallen so far that you are watching The Lazarus Effect. It makes you wonder about the afterlife. Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? Are Catholics right and suicides go to hell? Is that really that bad of an option? I mean, I'm fucking watching The Lazarus Effect right now, and I feel like I'm in fucking hell. I got a fork, an electrical outlet right here, because this fucking movie, how do you fuck up a concept so goddamn simple?
In a absolutely spectacular fashion, that's how.
This movie was directed by David Gleb and written by Luke Dawson and Jeremy Slater, the writers behind the J-horror remake classic Shudder.
Yeah, that was sarcasm on my part, if you hadn't quite picked that up yet.
Released on February 27, 2015 by Relativity Media, our movie follows researchers Frank and Zoe, played by Mark Duplass and Olivia Wilde, who are explaining their magical serum named Lazarus, which, long story short, brings the dead back to life. Instead of spoon-feeding the audience the plot right here, the more accurate dialogue he should be giving is, "Fuck the natural order of the universe. Why? Science, that's why, bitch. Now, pardon me while I go piss in the eye of God."
Yep. Oh, I've got a good feeling that everything's gonna work out for these guys. It's all gonna come up smelling roses.
These credits don't fit the vibe of the movie. Don't try and make the shit scary when you know it ain't, bitch. So, with the assistance of lab techs Nico, Donald Glover, Clay, played by Evan Peters, and videographer Eva, brought together by poor screenwriting, this crack team of red shirts are all that stands between this movie and the competent horror film it could be. They are the Dead Meat Squad. They managed to successfully bring a recently deceased dog back from the Don Bluth doggy heaven in the sky.
Burn it! Kill it! No!
Which is great and all, except now the dog's brain is constructing new synapses, its cataracts have disappeared, has no appetite, is uber vicious, and basically chock full of evil. Hey, Cerebus! No! Who told you to kill for the Dark Lord? Bad hellhound! No! Kill the red shirt!
Seriously, room full of geniuses, and not a single one of you have ever seen a horror film at any point in your life. You nuke that son of a bitch from orbit. Kill it with fire.
But thanks to a loophole in their funding contract, and when the dean of the university learns of their experiments, their project is promptly shut down. You did what? Are you fucking high? Here, use my library card and go check out any version of Frankenstein from our library, and then come back to me when you figure out just how fucked you truly are. Then a major pharmaceutical corporation buys out the company that funded their research. The company and their attorney, who's played by someone who's quite clearly the devil in human form, confiscate everything associated with the project and leave them with the smarmy, passive-aggressive equivalent of "Ha ha, life goes on." Frank and his team, being slaves to the cruel god of predictable screenplays, sneak back into their lab to duplicate the experiment so they can prove that they created the serum, which follows the horror movie hand guide and goes horribly wrong when Zoe gets electrocuted. And dies.
I'm kidding. We're not that lucky. Care to guess what happens next?
Frank uses the Lazarus serum to resurrect her, which at first it appears to be a success.
Hooray! I'm useful. I'm having a wonderful time.
But that's short-lived when Zoe claims that when she died, she went to her own special version of hell. And she's been there for years.
Oh, no. No good.
Hell, as it turns out, is a nightmarish memory from her childhood of a fire in her apartment building where she witnessed trapped neighbors burning to death.
Yeah, that is some heavy shit you're dealing with, Zoe. That's fucked up.
Also, Eva has a vision / nightmare / dream of Zoe's hell and wakes up with burns on her arms from the fire. Oh my god, you've managed to enter a classic horror film and steal a scene directly from it, and then brought it back to this movie. Amazing. The Lazarus serum, it turns out, is causing Zoe's brain to evolve rapidly, giving her superhuman powers such as telekinesis and telepathy. It's also giving her aggression, murderous impulses, insanity, and unfortunately for poor Nico here, murderous horniness when sex is refused. Turn me down, will you, you son of a bitch? No one turns me, Olivia Wilde, down. No one! Clay just shows up and pisses her the fuck off, so he kills her with his e-cigarette by shoving it down his goddamn throat.
I bet that shit wasn't on the warning label. No.
Frank has the genius idea of, hey, let's inject poison into the crazy superpowered evil woman who has returned from hell. We are so fucked. Zoe then injects herself with a metric shit ton of the Lazarus serum, making her the equivalent of a demigod. Using her new abilities, Zoe cuts the power to the entire lab, leaving poor sexy Eva as the only one alive, alone in the dark, and trying to find Super Zoe to inject her with poison. My question is, has no one in this movie considered the possibility of saying, fuck it, I'm out?
No? No one? No one? Okay, well, carry on. Go on, because it's clearly fucking working out well for you thus far. All of you, just working out like fucking gangbusters.
Zoe sends Eva back to her own personal hell, and it's here we discover that Zoe was the one that caused the apartment fire all those years ago. Hence why she went to hell. Eva escapes hell and is able to inject Zoe with the syringe filled with poison, and is saved by emergency rescue services.
Oh, I'm kidding, because this is the St. Elsewhere edition of the Lazarus Effect.
Surprise! It was all a dream, because Zoe shows back up and kills Eva. Afterwards, she injects Frank with her own blood, which if you remember was loaded with that Lazarus serum, and turns him into a demonic undead monster. Cut to black, cue the credits, we're done! So that's the Lazarus Effect, and universally this movie was panned, and the majority of the complaints were the same issue I've had with this film. It's an interesting premise, a talented, up-and-coming cast, and a director who clearly has the skill for the job, but even with all of this, it was pretty much squandered or forgotten at some point in production. I would say, if you're going to watch this movie, borrow a copy from a friend.
So that being said, I'm Joel from Fuelneve Reviews, and someone really needs to give me a closing line here. I got jack shit.